I've gotten a slew of messages asking me to talk about this, and you know, fortunately, a lot of you guys sent me a ton of information to look through. Tabs are full. We're gonna look through this stuff time at a time. This one, I listened like 3 seconds of it. Don't like the tone about it, but I guess we're gonna start off with this one. See if this gives a good breakdown of it. Let's see. I'm not a big fan of the tone around it because multiple people have passed away. I know Travis Scott's in. You know, people are criticizing him, rightfully so, over the Astroworld event. But I want to get like my full take on this before I give like a judgment here. 300 people were injured as well. Yeah.
Here's everything that happened at Travis Scott's Astroworld Festival and what Travis Scott had to say about it. Y'all, this one's really sad. Welcome back to the Pop Culture / T.
It sounds like, guys, this is so sad. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not. It's just like, I get it. I get that they're covering stuff. It's just like, it's so weird when you, and he even says he's like a T channel, which is fine. I have no problem with T channels. But it just feels, this is like the typical traditional T person, you know what I mean? Then they're like, hey guys, a tragedy happened. Follow for more. You know what I mean? Like the energy is just not matching what I feel like the energy is just bring it down a little bit. But I'm not trying to be too critical on this guy. He's just doing his thing, but it's like, Jesus Christ. Okay.
T side of TikTok, it's King Asante, and let's talk about it. Shortly after Travis brought Drake on stage, there were fans telling Travis to stop the show. Some fans were injured and some of them were passing out. Stop the show! Stop the show! Stop the show! Travis,
I mean, I imagine if they're yelling stop the show, that doesn't necessarily mean they know why, per se.
did notice a fan that passed out in the front stage.
Okay.
Somebody passed out right here. Hold on, don't touch him, don't touch him. Everybody just back up.
There were fans dancing in front.
All right, so that seemed like a reasonable thing. I'm going to assume that at a big festival, passing out's not like super uncommon that happens. People probably get really fucked up drunk at these things. And I'm just talking about that specifically by itself. And so he's probably like, hey, back up, give the person some air, let the EMT come and get them. This is probably not super, I feel like it's probably somewhat normal for this to happen. It shouldn't be, but that's more of like a festival culture rather than like Travis Scott's problem.
In front of emergency cars.
This is fucked up. This is incredibly inappropriate. Every single one of those people who are jumping on that should, did he, I can't say these things. But this is incredibly inappropriate.
This is what was happening in the back of the festival.
My thing is that if he saw that or was known that people were jumping on it, he should have stopped the show immediately. Jesus Christ.
8 people were pronounced dead. Almost 300 were injured. There have been reports from TMZ saying that was injecting victims with drugs. Astroworld put out a statement saying that their heart goes out to the family.
What goes on with the family?
Families and their loved ones.
Okay, it's pretty.
They canceled the second day of the festival. Travis Scott put out his own statement saying that he is devastated. Houston police has his total support. He's working with them to help heal and support the families in need.
Oh, okay, this is like a sensationalized report. It's TMZ reports Astroworld victims were possibly attacked by crazy person injecting people with drugs. This is like one of those problems with like breaking news. Somebody said something might have happened, and now we're gonna make it as a story, and they use the word possibly, but it still plants something in your mind. I'm not gonna read this. This is irresponsible from TMZ. They're treating it as just as much of a fucking like they're treating it like it's a joke. When you do shit like this, it's just inappropriate. Like, I understand covering topics, but when you sensationalize topics, it's very inappropriate, especially very serious topics like this. All right, let's watch an actual news fucking station talk about it.
Houston and Harris County officials held a news conference about this mass casualty event this
If it happened, it's definitely very revealing, but I don't like it when people go around and talk about like possibly, Papa Gut possibly shit his pants. It's like, okay, we don't know that though. You understand what I'm saying?
Afternoon, we brought it to you live.
And yeah, the injection has nothing to do with the crowd crushing and stuff. It's not really relevant. It just seems like another sensationalized news story.
Live here on KPRC2.
Mayor Turner and Judge Hidalgo among those who spoke. KPRC2's Bill Barajas live near NRG Park to begin our team coverage. Bill?
Well, a lot of new information and some disturbing new details involving a security guard that may have been drugged using a syringe. All of that coming from a press.
Oh, so this is okay. Maybe this happened. They're doing it too. It's not even just TMZ's fucking news. Like, yeah, maybe so one security guard might have been drugged by somebody. I mean, that's terrible. That's definitely newsworthy, but it feels like it's not really a contributor to the entirety of the event going like fucking apocalyptic.
Press conference that was held in the parking lot of the Wyndham, which is just across NRG. I heard you guys mention hospitalizations. They were updating us today, authorities, where they tell us 25 people were taken to the hospital, including those 8 victims that died. 13 remain there tonight.
I wonder if they're stable. I wish they would have mentioned if they are or aren't stable.
What was supposed to be a night to remember quickly turned tragic. The loud music and big crowds gave way to panic, flashing lights, hospitalizations, and 8 deaths. City officials saying the victims range in age from 14 to 27.
Jesus Christ.
Of the 8 family members have been notified, and we know that at least 1 is outside of Houston-Harris County, reside outside of Houston-Harris County.
Their cause of death unknown at this time. Authorities saying they're looking into questions about crowd surge, concert goers being trampled, and possible criminal activity involving drugs.
I will tell you, one of the narratives was that some individual was injecting other people with drugs. We do have a report of...
Yeah, so I think a big issue that seems to be a problem is that the crowd was overpacked. Is now that my question would be is this normal? Honestly, is this a normal thing that happened?
A security officer, according to the medical staff that was out and treated him last night.
So that's the issue more than anything else, is that the fucking crowd is packed. That's a big issue.
That he was reaching over.
Were they within like whatever regulation that they were allowed to be within? Because that's a very important part of this, is if they were within whatever like regulation or protocol that they're allowed to be in.
To restrain or grab a citizen, and he felt a prick in his neck.
Oh, so people are saying Travis encouraged people to sneak in. I'll have to see if it can be confirmed, but that's interesting, because I actually heard that before. One of the things we're going to read, I think, mentions that a bunch of people broke in and he encouraged people to break in. There was a stampede early in the day. Jesus Christ.
When
I saw a tweet that he deleted and someone said that he encouraged people to sneak in. Interesting. That's very interesting. People sneaking in isn't really his fault, but if he's encouraging them to do it, then absolutely, it contributes to him creating a hostile environment, an unsafe, hostile environment. So Travis Scott is a musician, and he's nothing else, right? And the same thing with me, right? He's not an event organizer, so an event organizer would understand the particular protocols that need to be implemented in order for it to be safe. Obviously, Travis Scott, that's an incredibly irresponsible thing for him to do.
he was examined, he went unconscious. They administered Narcan.
Fire Chief Sam.
Okay, he's Kylie Jenner's boyfriend too. Good point. I forgot about that. That actually makes... Shut the fuck up. Come on.
Benya added that several doses of Narcan were used last night. Narcan is commonly used to treat a drug overdose in an emergency situation. The reports of victims coming in around 9:30. The event, according to authorities, was canceled and cleared by 10:10.
From the time that the mass casualty incident was declared,
but we do want to begin.
The unit on scene was 2 minutes when we began to make patient contact. That is an incredible response.
And we want to give you new information as well regarding security. As you well know, about 50,000 people were in attendance taking in Astroworld. HPD tells us they had about 528 officers here, and 755 were private security officers provided by Astroworld, the venue, and Live Nation. Now, we are told that Live Nation and Travis Scott are cooperating with this investigation. Authorities will now wait for the autopsy results of those 8 people that died here to determine their exact cause of death. Live near NRG, Bill Barajas, KPRC 2 News.
Even if they're on drugs, the drugs isn't as much. I mean, I don't know if the drugs are particularly a big issue. People are probably going to bring shit in there, unless you're faulting the organizers for not vetting the drugs enough, which is actually probably a reasonable thing to criticize. Somebody sent me this. This is apparently like a picture of him fucking like on the stage, a bizarre stage while somebody's getting resuscitated over here. I'm not sure at what point. This says Travis Scott didn't see this kid getting resuscitated while he was up there doing the robot. He might be fucking drunk out of his mind as well. This is like, okay, I don't know. Again, I don't know if somebody being passed out should stop the entire show. It seems like it's somewhat normal, especially if there's already paramedics on the scene. It's the entire situation together that's really the problem. I want to take a look at his response before I do anything else.
My fans, like, I just want to send out prayers to the...
Yeah, part of the culture.
To the like ones that was lost last night.
Culture.
We're actually working right now to identify the families so we can help assist them through this tough time. You know, my fans really mean the world to me, and I always just really want to leave them with a positive experience. And anytime I can make out, you know, anything that's going on, I stop the show and help them get the help they need,
Well, that seems like it didn't happen. Did he stop the show? It's like, what is he talking about? It seemed like he didn't stop the show. That's the whole criticism. Now he's saying that he stopped the show. Yeah, so this is weird because I normally, like, maybe this is me being unfamiliar, but to me it's like, okay, there's a couple people passed out. That by itself isn't the issue. Yeah, he didn't know the severity of the situation. And his management should have told the DJ. See, that makes sense. That's reasonable. The problem is that, like, if he had said, like, if he was honest and he was like, listen, this is like, people pass out a lot, and I think the bigger issue is that there are people fucking stampeding the emergency shit, the emergency response vehicles. That's a bigger issue to me. A couple people passed out. Like, I mean, there's what, 50,000 people there, I think I saw. So a few people passed out. I get it, especially if there's already paramedic response. But the fact that he's not, like, being honest about it, he's like, oh, stop the show. Oh, I have dandruff. Like, I don't know. I feel like this is a dishonest response, and it's just like your traditional apology. Something went wrong. Here are a bunch of talking points, and we're done.
I could just never imagine the severity of the situation. We've been working closely. We've been working closely with everyone to just try to get to the bottom of this. The City of Houston, HPD, Fire Department.
That's how he normally is.
Everyone help us figure this out. So if you have any...
Yeah, no, I think that's like, somebody said, how much could you see and hear from a stage like that? No, it's fair. I think that, like, again, the event, or that makes sense. Like, his management team needed to also be held responsible, or more responsible, because if they told the DJ to stop playing, there you go.
Information, please just contact your local authorities. Everybody continue to just keep your prayers. I mean, I'm honestly just devastated, and I could never imagine anything like this just happening. I'm gonna do everything I can to keep you guys updated and just keep you guys informed on what's going on. Love you all.
Okay. All right. Yeah. There's so much here. Here's a people saying.
If that's okay with you, real quick. Chase me, let's do it. Bring your girl, feel like she boba. Your black nigga work in the ocean. So far we hit that on the ocean. I'm just one day away from going to leave. I'm just one day away from running out the devil. Just one more.
Yeah, I mean, this is unfortunate. So this is somebody yelling, "Stop the show!" There's somebody dead in there, etc., etc. It's just so much going on. Because I feel like it's not uncommon for these people to get fucking raided by fans, just like speaking shit. I don't even know if they can necessarily hear him or what's going on. I mean, he's got these headphones on that's probably sound canceling for a reason, because it's probably very loud. They definitely did the right thing, these two. But like, there's just so many different things that happened that made this all fucked up. Like, they did their best. I understand why they maybe didn't stop, that he didn't relay whatever response. Like this person, this capitalism in action. What? The cameraman cared more about his job than he was being paid for to do than humanity. I just feel like this guy is disoriented as fuck. He's just trying to record the show. He has his headphones on that are probably also relaying information from like his walkie-talkie on his side here. And like, he just doesn't know what the fuck's going on. To him, it's just like two people. He's probably startled that are just like fucking raiding his shit. I don't think that I wouldn't put any blame on this guy. He's just like, he probably just thinks these are two fucking people that are drugged out. And they did the right thing, by the way. These two people, they absolutely did the right thing. But the circumstances surrounding it, it's like, I give this guy a fucking break. Like, it's so easy to sit. The problem is it's really easy for us to sit here and go, these are all the things that happened that were wrong. And we obviously should be criticizing it, but this is one of those things where like, what the fuck, what do you want me to do with this guy, right? The biggest issue seems, from what I've seen, the bigger issue seems to be that Travis Scott, the biggest issue seems to be that Travis Scott like incited a fucking riot and told people to come in illegally in like a tweet that he now deleted. That's a huge deal to me, because he's basically saying like, hey, fuck up my show and go beyond the capacity that my show is supposed to be at. That's a really big problem. That's why we have different protocols in to be safe. But that's one of those problems that he encouraged. That's a huge issue to me. Okay, let's see what this has to say here. How do I fucking maximize this? Am I just like old and dumb? I guess I am. All right, so it says today is November 5th, 2021. It's a Friday. Who I am in this story is not important. Rather, it is important the things that I have witnessed. Astroworld, Houston, Texas. Travis Scott is the only one performing. I don't know how many people were at the festival, but I do know that every single person was at the stage. My friend and I wanted to be close to the stage, as close as we possibly could get. We were not able to get very close, but we did end up on the side, near the walkway in the middle. Surrounding us were chest-high metal gates, barriers. We stood there for 2 hours, as did every other person. Every gap was filled where your feet were placed as where they stayed. Energy rose at the time as the time neared beginning of the show. Within the first 30 seconds of the first song, people began to drown in other people. Okay. There were so many people, tall men, women, and men, where the only thing that you could see was the back of the person in front of them. The rush of people became tighter and tighter. Breathing became something only a few were capable of. The rest were crushed or unable to breathe in the thick, hot air. My friend began to gasp for breath, and she told me we needed to get out. We tried. There was nowhere to go. The shoving got harder and harder. If someone's arms had been up, it was no longer a possibility to put down. So people began to choke on one another as the mass swayed. It became more and more violent. We began to scream for help. We could see security just a few people over in the walkway in the middle. It got tighter, impossible to breathe as our lungs were compressed between the bodies of those surrounding us. More people began to scream for help. For help, some began to collapse. The music continued. Hundreds of people ripped their vocal cords apart, screaming for help, but we were not heard. There was nowhere to go. My friend was trapped between people on every side of her, and she desperately tried to move towards the rail. It was no use. The screaming intensified as more people realized they cannot breathe. We begged security to help us, for the performer to see us and know something was wrong. None of that came. We all continued to drown. More and more. One person fell or collapsed. It doesn't matter how it started. Once one fell, a hole opened in the ground. It was like watching a Jenga tower topple. Person after person was sucked down. You could not guess from which direction the shove of hundreds of people would come next. You were at the mercy of the wave. I watched my friend be dragged away from me and lost sight of her. I began to realize in the moment that there is a way to die that not many people know about, being trampled to death. I saw terror in every eye that I met, even the ones that told me to breathe and stay calm. We knew there was a very big chance some of us would not make it out alive. I was pushed away from the rail into the crowd of people where I could hear from another direction the shrieks of animals. It was happening all around me. These sinkholes of people, I was moved back towards the sinkhole. I started at it and was pushed to the edge of it. I sunk my feet into the ground, put my arms out, and tried to stop anyone from entering in a circle or pushing those already in. I was shoved further to the ground, my face down at the cold, hard plastic below us, and saw the body of a man. Jesus Christ. His face below mine, I lost it. There were people below the ones I could see from above. There was a floor of bodies of men and women below, 2 layers of fallen people above them. I began to shriek. I felt a primal tear rip through me, and I am not sure anyone understood the magnitude of the situation below. I screamed. There were people on the floor. There were people unconscious, being trampled by every foot that slammed into the ground as each individual tried to keep themselves upright. I saw his face. I became a shield for him. I think he smiled at me. Then I was shoved to the side. I saw more shoes slam the ground. Exactly in the spot his body lay face up. I couldn't help him. I couldn't help any of them. I didn't stop screaming the entire time. No one knew there were people below those that they could see. I almost met the same fate. I was losing balance, and I asked a man to grab me. He pulled me up, and I righted myself for just a fraction of a second before I was sucked back into the ground. I couldn't take what I saw. I had to get out. I had to get help. I had to do something. Somehow, I went towards the back of the crowd at a guardrail. A man pulled me over it. There were so many people, I think I meant to say so many people just standing there like nothing was happening. Like people weren't dead a few feet from them. I saw the cameraman and eyes glued to the stage, elevated on a platform. I understand the cameraman, he's doing his job and not noticing shit going on around him because it's very loud. A platform that looked directly into the crowd. It's not really his responsibility to watch these things. It's like more of a security responsibility. I climbed the ladder and pointed to the hole, telling him people were dying. Oh, this must have been the girl. He told me to get off the platform and continue filming. I screamed over and over again. He wouldn't even look in the direction, so I pushed the camera so it pointed where I had just come from. He became angry. He called someone else up. You leaving, babe? You look very cute. You're not ugly, babe. You look good. You look cute. You want to give me a kiss? Come on. Yeah, you look cute. No stress. Have fun, baby. Sorry. My fiance is leaving to go to her bridal shower. People were dying. I showed him where. He wouldn't look in the direction either. I was in disbelief. Here were two people that could actually do something, had the power to do something, cut the camera, call in the backup, pause something. They didn't, nothing. I looked over the sinkhole. People were screaming, reaching out their hands towards me, calling for help. I couldn't see the floor. The strangest thing happened to me in the moment. People began to boo at me. They pointed their fury at me, unleashed their rage. I screamed, people were dying over here. No one would listen. Somehow I ended up on the ladder, going back down mindlessly. I should have ripped the camera to shreds. I looked at the other guard in the eyes and told him he was the one responsible for countless deaths. Well, it's not really. It's true. He did nothing. I went onto the platform, called 911. The only thing they said that they were calling the medical team in. I told the operator over and over we needed to stop the concert because we just needed a pause. We needed a light. Awareness to the deaths. Nothing. A kid watched me under the platform, watched me break down in tears, explaining how I saw people crushed, stomped on, unconscious. He watched the operator say nothing of use to me. I went out, not sure what to do. Suddenly, two men in red medical shirts, looking confused and lost, bumped into me. I explained confused and I explained everything, and they told me they had gone in and saw nothing. Two girls that were in the pit with me were standing beside me. Heard that they helped explain it was there. We led them to it. They climbed the metal gates and went through the people. Those were the only ones working that were brave enough that night. I had endless respect for those two men. We waited, the two girls and I, and watched people being thrown over the railing. People trying to escape the cage we had been in. Jesus Christ. So yeah, I mean, again, I don't really blame the technician, the operator, too much. I understand, like, he could have done more. I feel like there's so much going on. I don't, and other people couldn't even see what was going on. Other people couldn't even see what was happening, like the paramedics. I just feel like blaming this fucking camera operator is a way to take the responsibility off of fucking Travis Scott, which he fucked up bad, and his event organizers fucked up bad. There's a couple of more accounts from here that I'm interested in reading. I just left Astroworld Festival, and let me say this. As someone who has been to every Astro Festival there's been, this was completely different. It was awful. I passed out because people were pushing up against me so much I couldn't breathe. Sam got people to apparently, this is terrible, to apparently crowd surf my unconscious body to the security guard, and I got carried to a little section behind GA and put down on a stool thing. When I woke up, I had a bottle of water in my lap and I had no clue what happened. So, this made me thirsty, sorry. So this is I think this is the worst part, is that, like, okay, I understand that the culture, people might pass out, but the biggest issue is that they're overcrowding. They couldn't even get to the people that needed help. People were trampled to death. I think that, like, this is the biggest problem. This was the biggest issue of Travis Scott, is that he seemed to tell people to break in illegally. And I feel like, I honestly feel like if it wasn't for that, if it wasn't for the apparent telling people to break into the event and overcrowd it, basically, if it wasn't for that, none of this would have happened. I understand that this is one of those things where there's so many moving parts in a festival like this that I think he should help pay for the funeral. No, he should pay for literally everything. Like, he should be 100% financially responsible. Him and the event organizers or whatever. Because, like, if he inciting people to come in and it's a big deal. I don't think that people really understand this. There's a reason why. Okay, so I'm assuming people have been inside of buildings before that are watching this video. There's a reason that they tell you the maximum capacity of people that are allowed into a particular event. This isn't even like a COVID thing. This is just a normal, like, if there's an emergency, people will die. That's why they do that. There's a reason why they do that. It's so that when the worst case scenario happens, you can get out safely. If a building says you can only have 100 people in it and you pack it at 150, people are going to die if an event happens. And also, ironically, the event that happened was overcrowding and trampling people to death. And people being packed together is also a big deal. Like, it's also going to increase the temperature and reduce your ability to breathe. I'm not even kidding. I know it sounds silly, but like, if you have a bunch of people, a bunch of tall people, you know, packed together, getting crushed, I mean, with a bunch of shorter people, they may not be able to breathe. People may not be strong enough. They're going to get fucking swept underneath. They're going to get trampled. They're going to get hurt. They're not going to be able to, like, it's just, there's a slew of issues. And I feel like we're just so past it as a society. I guess he just didn't realize that there's a reason that we have particular protocols. And he fucked up on this protocol. I think it was wildly irresponsible. I don't think that there's a response that he could possibly give other than, like, I'm really fucking stupid for encouraging people to break into this illegally. I'm a dumb fucking idiot. It's just fucking insane. Like, he really is more responsible than I came into this and I was like, okay. You know, like, I understand this shit gets fucking crazy, but I feel like this is a really big deal. And I feel like it's one of those, like, almost like a first world problem where we're like, we have particular standards that we just take advantage of. Like, oh, don't worry, maybe we could pack with another 10, 20% of people that are supposed to be here, or more than are actually supposed to be in there. You know what I'm saying? And it's like a first world problem. It's like, we could overfill this particular area. It's like, no, that fucks shit up. You know, it's fucked up. Okay. When I stood up, I looked around and people were getting carried out with eyes rolled back into their heads by security, bleeding from their nose and mouth. I yelled, has anyone checked their pulse? The security guard, frantic, asked me to please help him. I checked 2 people and one did not have a pulse. I told them I was an ICU nurse, and the other security guard heard that, said, please come help us. He takes me to the part of the crowd where, being GA, I don't know what that means, behind GA, I don't know what that means, where I see 3 bodies sprawled out and people were, who I assume were medical staff doing CPR. I immediately see that there is not enough medics for this, so I relieve one of the medics of CPR. I asked him where the ambulance bag is, I guess, where the AED is, where the stretcher in the ambulance is, where the fuck any of this shit is, and they said, essentially, there is none. Wow. Hold on. So is this wait, so is there an additional aspect to this where they didn't have enough security equipment to deal with stuff in case of something went down? Because then that goes into another problem. GA's general admission. Okay, fair enough. So what they're saying now is that there wasn't enough security, or there wasn't enough medical equipment to deal with a potential catastrophe. There's a reason why I'm going to assume that they were just like, they underplayed the standards that they needed to meet because they didn't give a shit. So now they weren't even prepared for a catastrophe. When you should really be, the EMS weren't trained, so they didn't have like the correct staff. I mean, that's a staffing issue. So that specifically isn't Travis Scott's fault. That's the event organizer's fault for not being equipped well enough to deal with like whatever the fuck is going on. Either that, or they had the particular equipment, but it was just so overburdened, and we're not getting that expressed to us because we're only seeing an individual in the crowd's perspective rather than the perspective of, like, you know, everything going on. Maybe they didn't have this particular equipment because they didn't expect a catastrophe. I don't really know. Still, it feels like an event organizer issue. Yeah, there's 1 ambo bag, 1 stretcher, and 1 AED for 3. Now 4 people who are pulled. Yeah, so they didn't seem to have enough stuff. I'm assuming they thought they only needed the 1 AED. Again, this wouldn't have happened if Travis Scott didn't encourage the event to blow up the way that it did. So I feel like they should have still had more equipment, but I'm going to assume that they were possibly not ready. This wasn't something that would be considered like necessary. The capacity was 50,000, and they overfilled capacity. Okay. Still, capacity 50,000. Really, they only had 1 AED. Okay, let's just keep going. Then I see there's other people doing CPR on people who have a pulse because nobody has done a pulse check. Jesus Christ. It was an absolute shit show. Yeah, it just sounds like they have no fucking training. I lost Sam for I don't even know how long, but the remainder of the concert I was doing compressions, bragging, and helping people, or not bagging, not bragging, and helping people, helping move people to stretchers and checking pulses on new bodies as they got the crowd surfed to where we were. People were trampled, crushed. There was no cell service to call for more help. People were begging the crew operating the stage lights and stuff around us to stop the concert, and they wouldn't. I was disappointed and sad. Finally, cops showed up with more stretchers and started getting people out, but I know at least 2 individuals have been pulses for 15 minutes before they got on the show. Yeah, those people are probably not going to survive. That's horrible. Yeah, it just seems like now. Honestly, it seems like a massive, just like non-preparation for this event. This is one of those things too, where it's not a small event; it's a huge event with a fucking, effectively a superstar. They can afford these particular safety measures, and they just didn't. I'm a trained medic. I was doing CPR on a girl as Drake came. I was doing CPR on a girl as Drake was coming on with Travis. 2 medical staff came over to help. Okay, so when he went on the stage to help, they were like deer in headlights. They had no fucking clue what they were doing. One of them straight up left. The other, Jesus Christ, the other medic was screaming if anyone knows CPR. Anyone else knows CPR. The 2 that came over had no ambu bag, no gloves, no AED, no nothing. I had the girl's friend. There's no way that this isn't like some kind of an internal fucking failure. They just don't believe it. Because now it's like, oh, they didn't have gloves. Like, I know this sounds stupid, but if I was going to staff an event in COVID, I would make sure that my medical staff had fucking gloves. And so the fact that these people don't have any gloves, to me, suggests that there was a massive issue with the event organization and like the safety protocols that were there. I'm yelling for an AED, even a damn CPR pocket mask. They eventually get a backboard and start to put her on backwards, feet at the narrow end. I call the guy an idiot and flip it over. Finally, Jesus Christ, they can't even, like, dude, it's fucking amazing that this could have gone so much worse if it wasn't for fans who were trained medical staff being in the audience volunteering their fucking help. It's insane. It seems like there's multiple accounts of just some fucking person that came there and they got like suffocated because of the overburdened crowd. And then when they got out, they got right to work helping untrained medical staff for this event. How did so many things go wrong at once? It's incredible that the people that were the most responsible were fucking fans, between the medical staff and the people like trying to climb the stage and stop the fucking event. It's fucking insane. And like going back to that other guy again, I'm not gonna blame the cameraman, but also because I understand being in like that shocked state, basically, where he's like, I'm trying to work. These are fucking crazy people. They're probably, maybe he thinks that they're drunk or something. But like, it just seems like overall staff negligence. Just like there's just so many problems in this. It's like there was a failure at every mark. Travis Scott apparently overburdened the fucking event in the first place. Then there wasn't really accurate or a trained medical staff. Didn't have proper medical equipment, and then nobody that was in the crowd or nobody that was outside of the medical field, like the cameraman or the DJ, seemed to give a fuck. Neither did the event organizers. I feel like has to be people paid to just watch the crowd. I feel like that's not an unreasonable thing to expect, that there's people that get paid to watch the crowd in case something happens. Because I feel like there has to be like security guards on stage or something that just watch the crowd. So it feels like there's just too many failures. There's too many like failures within this like whatever system or however you'd want to say it. It's fucking nuts. It's just fucking nuts. They picked the backboard up only to drop her on her face. Oh my god. I was so incredibly mad. I watched a girl die in front of me because these medics were so ill-prepared. I'd encourage anyone here to open lawsuits against this Cactus Jack Astroworld bullshit. So sad. Honestly, I don't blame them. And I think that, like, definitely... What I think the outcome will be, I don't know. What it should be is just 100% financial, like, liability from this event and Travis Scott. 100%. Like, I hope to God that they royally fucking... They, like, not fuck... the people who did this, but they fucking, like, they actually are held accountable. Because do I think he should be jailed? I don't know if he should be jailed. I don't know, because there was no active intent to do this. I think that he should be 100% financially liable for this situation. Like, just all over the place. And if it bankrupts him, I don't care. But this is one of those things. This is an emphatic fucking failure, and I feel like if we don't make an example out of this situation, then it's just gonna happen again. Nobody's gonna fucking care. This is insane. This is fucking insane. Like, how this is so bad. Okay, we watched this already. We read this already. This is just fucking insane. What is this here? I brought it up for a reason. Oh, this is people chanting "Stop the show."
Yeah.
This is him fucking auto-tuning. Why is this here? Oh, this is another angle of the kid. I thought this was everybody chanting "Stop the show." Another angle of this kid getting carried out. He's like staring right at him. Again, I get this clip by itself. I mean, now that with all the context, I feel like he's a fucking moron. But I get the individual passed out. Maybe he doesn't get it. But there's just so many failures here. There's so many failures here. It's fucking insane. Some of you guys asked me to watch. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, I truly do feel like there needs to be massive financial compensation for everybody. It's just, this is insane. This is too much of a failure, like a pure systemic failure. Yeah, I'm gonna watch this is fucked up. So people were asking me to watch these two videos here. Well, they asked me to watch the Moist Critical one about the situation short. You know, I'm going to increase the speed and get through it. And then I also am curious what Ab and Preach have to say. So I'm going to just pop this and I want to see what they have to say.
You've all heard by now, but last night, Travis Scott's Astroworld concert was a disaster. 8 people died, 300 others were injured, and 11 of them suffered cardiac arrest. I first heard the news while streaming, and I didn't even know what the fuck to think. It was so baffling. Just an absolutely horrible situation all around. When I first heard about the 11 cardiac arrest victims, I didn't even know what the fuck could have caused that. I thought Light had gotten a hold of the death note and just started writing people's names in it at random at the concert. 11 heart attacks? His music isn't going that hard that it's just sending people to an early grave. Like, yeah, he had a pretty crazy Fortnite concert, I guess, but kids weren't dropping like flies because
You think that Travis was high? Probably. They're probably all on drugs. Well, that's another thing too, and this is another thing too. I wouldn't doubt if he was either high or drunk. I think I mentioned it earlier. And this is one of the, again, this is like the fucking ridiculous bullshit, dog shit culture of festivals. Like, you're encouraged to be high. It just seems to be a thing. Like, yeah, get high, get drunk before a show, and then you're completely unaware. But then again, the event organizers aren't or shouldn't be high. So like, there's a lot of responsibilities for them.
It was just giving them a heart attack. So I didn't know what the fuck.
Again, this just seems to be like a fucking pure failure, up and down.
Was going on? I thought like, okay, maybe there was like overdoses or like a shooter or something. Aliens invaded. Like, how the fuck are this many people getting hurt and dying at that concert? It wasn't until after stream where I looked into it, and it is truly disgusting how avoidable this whole thing was.
Yeah.
So first of all, it is Travis's fault. I see a lot of people defending him for some reason on social media. Travis Scott is just as much to blame for this tragedy as everyone else around him. I'm not going to share any videos for obvious reasons. It's really disturbing. There are just like golf cart ambulances going through the crowd with people dancing on top of them and preventing them from getting to the people that needed assistance. There's videos of
I actually didn't even come across those videos. I remember I was talking about it earlier, but I didn't actually find any of those.
People performing CPR in mass on a bunch of bodies around them because people were just literally falling over unconscious, needing to be resuscitated. There's a video of Travis Scott who is looking at someone's body being crowd surfed towards the front to get it out of the way. It's this guy's body, and it's being pushed over everyone's head, and Travis Scott is looking at it and continues to sing. Now, that clip in particular is extremely popular and been floating around everywhere, but it's not the full clip. In the full clip, Travis Scott actually picks that guy out and tells security to pick him up and get him out of there. He noticed that he was unconscious, and security was working their best to get him out of there. But then he goes right back to singing as they're trying to get him out, so people immediately start like fucking bumping and grinding on the people that are trying to get the body out. They're literally—
Oh, see, that's actually a good point, because I was gonna say, like, again, that's probably somewhat normal for that to happen. What is going on here? Hold on a second. But he just kept going right back to it, which fucked people over. And again, that comes to the overcapacity of the too much. What is this?
If everybody good, put a middle finger up in the sky. Okay, where my guy, man? Come on. Yeah, all that. 2 hands to the sky. 2 hands to the sky. 2 hands up, y'all. 2 hands up. Y'all know what y'all came to do. Chase me, let's go. Whoa. I want to make this motherfucking ground shake, goddammit. Whoa. Here we go.
This guy's a fucking dumb as shit.
Here we go. 5, 7,
Is he this fucking stupid? See, this is what fucks me up too. Like, he literally says, "What is that?" I'm going to assume that he fucking saw the goddamn emergency vehicle. There's no way. There's a reason that they flash fucking blinking lights on emergency vehicles. This looks like an emergency vehicle that's stuck. This just looks like he didn't give a shit. He stopped. He saw, oh, what's that? Emergency vehicle? Oh, because this, to me, I don't know. From this perspective, it looks like this fucking person can't move. It looks like this emergency vehicle. This isn't like an ambulance, but it seems to be like a golf cart or a cart that's used as an, or maybe I'm wrong. It seems to be like a cart that they would use at like an event. So it's not quite an ambulance, but it's something that they use to shuffle people around. But he didn't even say, guys, like, move the fuck out of the way, give those people space, etc., etc. I don't know. I feel like this is just another failure right here. There's no fucking way that he's seen this and he was like, yeah, let's sing a fucking song. Woo! What do you do? He's just so dumb. Like this fucking thing is packed around itself. He didn't think that maybe that there was too many people surrounding him. This guy's a fucking moron. This guy's just a dumb fuck.
Really twerking on the security guards trying to get a corpse out of there. And it doesn't make Travis look any better in my opinion, because it shows that he was very well aware that people were literally falling over unconscious at his concert and still continued to sing without trying to address it and maybe like giving it a break and trying to get the crowd reorganized so people would stop dying like that body he had just pointed out. Travis Scott from the stage can see the ambulance going through and he did nothing to stop the concert. He didn't say, whoa, let's all settle down. What's going on? Let's stop this. Travis Scott is just as much to blame for what happened here as everyone else. Now, the majority of the responsibility for the situation that happened falls on the organizers of the event. The cause of all of this was overcrowding. What was happening is people were dying from being pushed by the crowd. It's called crowd crush. People weren't necessarily getting trampled. They were literally getting asphyxiated due to the pressure of all of the bodies around them constantly pushing on them. They couldn't breathe. So they were literally just standing and suffocating, from what I understand. What's even wilder is that this isn't even the first time it's happened at Astroworld. In 2019, 3 people died from a stampede. So they're clearly not very good at handling crowds. In fact, they don't do...
Yeah, no, this seems to be a big issue with the... with that, yeah.
Anything
with like the event organizer
about it. There were so many videos of people begging the organizers last night to stop the concert and like get people to stop dying, and their response was no. It was like that scene in fucking Watchmen. They'll cry out for help and I'll whisper, no, we're going sicko mode. Like, it's fucking crazy. Like, Travis Scott put out a tweet saying how devastated he is.
I'm absolutely devastated by what took place, and my prayers go out to the families all those impacted by what happened. Astroworld, Houston PD is my total support as they continue to look at tragic loss. I am committed to working together with the accusing. This is just like this literally, like, I don't even think Travis Scott wrote this. This is a copy and paste. This means nothing.
Bro, you could literally see people dying from where you were on.
Okay, so here's let me just I want to I guess backtrack something I said, because I said it irresponsibly. I should have looked into it better. Okay, so people in the chat were saying like, oh, he encouraged people to break in. That's not actually true. 100%. Not necessarily true. It's kind of true, but it's not really true in the way that you want it to. So basically, this is the deleted tweet from Travis Scott. Nah, we still sneaking the wild ones in, which is very obviously different from this fucking...
Like, Travis Scott...
It's very different from the verbiage, we'll say, from this. It shows to us that Travis Scott definitely generally is encouraging of people sneaking into events. However, and like that's dumb and shitty, and it absolutely could have had a profound impact on the concert. But it seems like the bigger issue is the event organizers. Travis Scott, I think, is still absolutely like responsible and liable, and I don't remove any of that liability or responsibility from him. But that's from May, yeah. That was from May. Yeah, right, exactly. But he didn't specifically tell people to break into fucking Astroworld. I should have done better. I should have done better with that. Anyway, I still don't think it removes a lot of responsibility, because like the event being overcrowded is definitely the fault of the fucking event organizers. But Travis Scott just seemed to not give a fuck. And again, part of that's probably because he was drunk. There was just so many different failures, or high or something, across the board. There was just like humanity failures. Between the staff, there was untrained ambulance individuals or medical professionals. I don't doubt that the security guards were untrained because they didn't spot like the fucking Jesus goddamn Christ. They didn't spot the fucking the insanity in the crowd. There's so many issues. Fundamentally, the biggest issue is it was overcrowded. Yeah.
Put out a tweet saying how devastated he is. Bro, you could literally see people dying from where you were on stage. You looked at a dead body. You looked at a corpse being transported and still continued to sing. You literally...
I would imagine he would probably just think that they're passed out or something. Honestly. Like, I don't want to go in on him on every single point, because I want to try to be as, like, as objective as possible. Because, I mean, somebody that's super fucking passed out, again, it's probably... See, this is the problem, is that's normal for Astroworlds. It's just normal for people to be passed out and carried out of the fucking audience. You know? It's just crazy. Is that real? Are you fucking with me? Because some people are saying that like almost all the security, or the majority of the security, was protecting Kylie Jenner. So that's great.
Gave it a walk-off song. This dude's dead body was being pushed over the crowd. Travis was looking at it and was like singing him into Valhalla. Like, you knew what was going on.
Am I playing devil's advocate? No. What are you talking about? I just said I'm trying to be as objective as possible. I don't know what I understand why people are outraged and pissed. That's not. I try not to do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to just be as objective as possible. I'm trying to be as like contextually accurate as I possibly can be. Or were you just fucking with me and spent a spelled? Okay, were you being devil's advocate? I thought you misspelled, but apparently you're just trolling me. I should fucking ban you.
And still decided not to stop the concert. You are responsible. Travis Scott in 2015 and 2017 also had problems where he encouraged the crowd to like hop barricades and storm the stage, creating like a really unsafe concert environment. Yeah. Travis Scott treats his concerts like he's still playing Fortnite and he's just trying to increase his kill to death ratio. It's fucking nuts. And the people that are trying to defend him are stupid. Like, you're just dumb. He is not an idiot. He could see all the chaos going out there. Ambulance, literally looking at a dead body. And he at any point could have said, whoa, let's fucking stop. Let's put the brakes on this operation here.
That's fair.
Let's address what's going on and just maybe postpone the concert or reorganize people so we're not just this giant wave of meat that is killing people. Like, there was plenty of opportunity for him to stop it. But yes, I do agree. Travis Scott didn't design the venue himself. That responsibility falls on the organizers who, for some reason, have no idea how to handle crowds. So they just have this massive group of people in an area that's too tight for them up front, and it caused the crowd crush. Now, I do understand that there were a lot of people that were entering the concert illegally, like they were hopping the fence and busting through the security.
Was there actually a lot of people who were doing that? Was there like a massive amount of people who were entering it illegally? Is there a number that they could put on that? That's a big deal. Because if you honestly, if you combine that, okay, so if you combine people breaking into it, you combine that with him being generally encouraging of people breaking into concerts on top of the failure of the medical staff is a big deal to me, because you had a failure of medical staff, which to me suggests that you have a failure in their security staff. All of these issues here sounds like, hey, let's save a couple of bucks. You know, let's save a couple of bucks here.
Checkpoints, so there were more people.
Yeah, and then they have a bunch of people that were able to sneak drugs in. There's just so many failures of this.
Anticipated, but there are still ways to combat that. There's absolutely things they could have done, such as stopping the concert when people started dying. People were begging them to stop the concert. The organizers, not just Travis Scott. There's a video of a girl who climbed up one of the camera towers and was telling him the situation. His response was, "Get the fuck down." Like, there were plenty of times where organizers could have stopped the concert. This isn't one of those situations where there was nothing they could do to stop what was happening. It's not like it was Thanos and it was inevitable or whatever. The Travis Scott concert isn't some kind of natural disaster like a hurricane where you can't go outside and just yell, "Hey, halt! Stop, hurricane!" and expect it to stop. But here, you absolutely could do that and expect it to stop because it's just a concert.
Security gave up because so many people were running through the gate. I don't blame them. I do 100% blame them. So, like, here's what you do if you're a security guard and you feel like you're giving up because it's an unsafe event. I don't know, call the cops, say, hey, I'm the fucking head of security and this event is fucked. Or, I don't know, go on stage and tell people, hey, this is something going on. Like, hey, we need to stop this concert because there's too much shit going on. You know what I'm saying?
Fucking lead singers walk off stage all the time and the concert ends on the spot. Like, Nickelback has walked off stage like 100 times because people throw tomatoes at them. Like you can stop it. You can. And they should have, because it would have really prevented the loss of life there, at least helped. I didn't know what crowd crush was until today.
I'm also going to assume that there were people, like Travis Scott had a fucking thing in his ears so that he could hear like whatever he needed to hear from event organizers or whoever. So they couldn't get to his management staff and say like, hey, this is getting fucking rowdy. We need to stop the show or something.
And then I read all about it. That is an absolutely agonizing.
At the end of the day, I mean, I feel like because we're probably all squabbling over like the specifics. At the end of the day, the event organizers and Travis should get royally fucked and have to fully pay for literally everything, because this is horrible. There should be no bullshit like, oh well, it seems like they bypassed every reasonable action they were supposed to take. They were under their security staff seemed shit, their medical staff was shit, everything was shit. What is this? Is this from? Huge crowd pushes their way through the entrance of Astroworld Festival. This is from the second that this happened. Wait, this happened during the day. The second this happened, they should have canceled the show. I'm not even kidding. The second this happened, the show's over. If it was my show, over. Like, are you fucking dumb? This is the first thing I wish I watched. It's fucking daylight out. The second this happens, show's over. The show's over. Because now you're just telling your fans, like, yeah, you can break into my festival. This is fucking insane. There's no way. This to me is probably like the scream. This is the everything. This is it. This is all I needed to see. Hey, why are people like this? Probably because Travis Scott fucking encourages his fans to be dumb little fucking delinquent pieces of shit. I'm surprised there were any EMTs in the crowd that like are fans of him. Because, like, without those people, there are probably more dead people. Thankfully, like, he has fans that are educated. I don't know how, though, because this is fucking insane. If there was ever some dumb fuck, like, musician who ever did this kind of shit, I was like, yeah, do this, I would have ended the show immediately. What are you, your fucking child? This doesn't make any sense to me. It's just fucking insane. This dude's 29 years old? Oh, this guy's a fucking loser. He should lose everything that he has, honestly. You're 29 years old? Dude, there's no fucking way that you're this immature. Like I thought he was like fucking 20. I was like, okay, he's just a dumb piece of shit. This guy's a 20. This is a grown fucking man that let this type of behavior happen. This is insane. He has a fucking baby. What a stupid fuck. Like how I just feel like when you have a kid, it should like humanize you more. And he brought his wife and baby there. Honestly, that's a side note, but like he brought his wife and child to this event. So he knows his fucking dumb bullshit Astroworld festivals or whatever concerts are insane. But he still allowed his wife and kid to go there. And then he had a pretty sizable portion of the security watch them. Just like, I feel like, and she's pregnant. So is this to me, this is just clicking where it's like, hey, I'm going to bring my wife and kid and unborn kid. I don't know if they have an actual kid, but at the very least, unborn kid. Is Stormy the kid? I don't know. Who fucking cares? I'm gonna bring my family into an event that I know is horribly violent, and then I'm gonna surround them with security, a disproportionate amount of security, and then my entire concert's gonna have like nothing right. Dude, this guy should get fucking reamed. The 10-year-old died? This is horrible. This guy is wildly irresponsible because he knows if he's putting like a disproportionately high amount of security onto his wife and fucking kids or whatever, he knows. Then he knows. To me, this just suggests that he knows and he doesn't fucking care. This guy's an idiot. People are getting fucked. Look at these people. They can't even get up. People are getting trampled as it is. This is insane. This is crazy too because I know enough to know what I'm looking at here. These tables here, these are where they're supposed to stop and check your bags, the security. All these people got into the concert without checking any of their bags. This is how the drugs got in. Yeah, I'm surprised nobody died here. This is how the drugs got in. This concert should have been instantly done. I could see why security gives up in this scenario, but the security should have went and said that the concert needs to not even start. There could have been people with there could have been people with a fucking gun walking into the concert, and we would have never known. Because this is where they check for guns and drugs. This is fucking nuts. This security was definitely not prepared for that. Like, dude, the whole culture around this is insane. They need metal detectors? It wouldn't have even fucking mattered if they had metal detectors. Look at what are they going to run through? You're going to hear buzzing all the time. Like, you're not going to fucking know. Who is it? You need fucking Magneto there. That's what you need. So get all the... Like, that's... I mean, what are you supposed... There's really nothing you could do. This is fucking insane. Like, people aren't... This is when the concert should have been over. Bro, I would have fucking left if I was gonna go here. Yeah, put landmines down. Jesus Christ. Maybe. Alright. Where are the security? Is this woman security? I think this woman is security. Like there's like two guys. They're doing their best. They didn't even give up. They're doing their best. There's like 4 guys. Yeah, I mean, like, see, this is another problem. It seems like they didn't have the right security, but then also they had like horrible dog shit fan culture, which is Travis Scott's fault, 100% for encouraging it.
Horrible way to die. It is a slow, painful, miserable death. They were dying standing up. I can't even picture something like that, especially at a concert where you're supposed to be having fun. And it's not like the people in the crowd were maliciously pushing and shoving people. I'm not like blaming the crowd. This is a phenomenon that happens when the place is just too crowded, and people just standing next to each other is enough to start putting too much pressure on people up in the middle, and they just start suffocating because they can't catch their breath anymore. It's the same thing that happened at like the Hillsborough disaster, I think it was called. That was I think 97 people died there, and it was the same thing. It was a crowd crush. People in the back were occupying too much space, so the people in the middle were starting to get suffocated from it. It's not like people in the back were pushing and shoving on everyone. It's just people at walking speed or even standing still, too close together, makes it so that way the people in the middle just get absolutely blasted. It happens with like a bottleneck situation, or if the venue is just genuinely not big enough to handle the capacity. Or another thing I was reading about was a crowd collapse, which is when someone falls over and then that leads to other people falling over, and then they start dying from asphyxiation at the bottom of like that pile. I don't think that
there was an individual went there that was talking about that.
Was the case here. From what I've been reading, it was truly crowd crush, and it's a truly awful and sad situation that was easily avoidable. The concert could have been stopped at any moment when the hundreds of people started alerting them to the problems and the people that were dying. But they decided to continue with the concert for the whole duration, and now we're left with 300 injured and 8 confirmed dead. Fucking tragic. Actually fucking awful.
No, to me, this started before the concert even started. Like, this should have been ended almost immediately. This shouldn't have even gone on.
So, yeah, I just wanted to talk about this because I got pretty upset reading about it, and that's about it.
Yeah, this is fucked up. Travis Scott's a fucking scum piece of shit. Honestly, I don't care if it's too harsh. That's fucked up.
But we do want to begin.
This is the last one from Abin Preach.
Horrible news coming to us out of Houston, Texas today. At least 8 people are dead, many others injured after what officials describe as a crowd surge at the Astroworld Music Festival.
That caused some panic, and it started causing some injuries. People began to fall out, become unconscious, and it created additional panic.
Now, these are just some of the latest images coming into our newsroom as they show an ambulance and first responders in the midst of a sea of people as they care for those who were crushed in that huge surge.
But earlier in the day, possible warning signs of a situation spinning out of control. Hundreds of festival goers storming past security, surging through metal detectors, and
Look at this. This is insane.
stepping over each other to get into the sold-out concert.
At least 300 people were treated at field hospitals on the site, and we know from some eyewitnesses that the crowd was densely packed. It was a sold-out crowd of 50,000 people.
Obviously, everybody's opening up mosh pits, we're having a good time, but there's a lot of people that are very selfish. There's people that I saw a pit that was being held together by people, but because in the pit was people that fell, so they were standing together to help the people get up. And I witnessed somebody unconscious struggling to get out, like their friends were trying to get him out, and just people weren't caring enough to make a path. So I'm a 400-pound guy, so I jump in because that's just my instinct, and I just make a path for him. And on my way back to the middle, I mean, a girl that's hyperventilating.
Yeah, I mean, like, dude, I'm not even trolling, but like, this guy's like, yeah, I did what I could. This guy's like fucking huge. So even if there were more good people, this guy, like, I could do what he's talking about. I could fucking walk through a crowd of people if I had to. He could walk through a crowd. He's a big fucking guy. But just imagine, like, most people are just gonna get trapped underneath, and they're gonna get fucked. Like, it's insane. And all it takes is a guy this big that doesn't care about people to just stand still. That's all it takes, is some fucking dickhead that's this big to just say, like, fuck you, I don't care about the people. I don't care. I don't give a shit about anything.
So it said, like, you know,
so sold out show, people storming the gates. They didn't shut down the event.
I couldn't tell her, hey, calm down. I immediately just grab her, and I'm rushing back. And, you know, closer to the VIP section, that's when, when the front, there was definitely a lot of jumping. If you didn't jump, you were going to fall, and you would get trampled on, definitely.
So the crowd's pushing
the crowd's pushing back and forth, like, you needed to...
Yeah, these guys are big.
You were going to fall. It was just too insane.
And so you tried to get your buddy...
Yeah, so my buddy was there. He was already passing out. I saw him. I noticed him on someone's back, and then right away he said that he wanted to go, and I just helped him out.
There was a video I watched, and... yeah, I can't show it. But
I'm more interested to see what they have to say, like, who they think is to blame for the tragedy.
Essentially,
I like these guys.
So in the video itself, the guy's kind of filming the concert, and then he pans to the left. You can go watch some TMZ, and you see somebody laid out on the floor, and there's a paramedic doing CPR, and the person's just out cold. And the individual's, judging by the video, I'm pretty sure the person's dead. And the person, so weird. They pan back towards the main stage, and there's this girl just being like, and literally like 5 feet on the floor, there's a dead person. And just that image is kind of seared into my brain because it kind of perfectly illustrates the event. There's people.
I fucking hate this because it's like triggering me a little bit. That's another thing too, is it seemed like there was just there were so many people there. It was so overcrowded that the people calling for distress were just droned out by the fucking dumb drunk and high people that probably got drunk and high because they didn't search their bags or shut down the event in the crowd. It's just insane how many failures there were and how honestly easy this would have been to prevent. You could have literally you could have said, we're shutting the event down for a few hours. And then you guys are going to come in and show your tickets. And if you don't have tickets, you're going to fucking leave. You could have done that. Hey, we're going to start the show late because of these pieces of shit. And we're going to end on the same time. So you're going to get less music. This is actually like a general strategy where you punish an entire group for like when you're in school, you have one little douchebag that decides to be like, oh, fuck you. And he doesn't stop talking. So you punish the whole class. I'm totally fine with it. So we used to do in the Boy Scouts. I don't care if you think that's kind of weird. Do that. Hey, everyone leave, and we're going to have you come back in with your tickets, and then we'll start the show, and you're not getting any more time. It's crazy. They only had 2 water stands. That's like a random thing to say, but also I understand what you're saying. Like they didn't even have like enough fucking hydration for these people.
Also being preoccupied with their own enjoyment and their own pleasure, and their own like I'm here, I'm Travis Scott, and that they forget how to be human a little bit. And in their defense, you know, you're caught up in the euphoria of being at a live event and the energy, and you're there to party, and you're inebriated, and you know, let's also not kid ourselves. A lot of people are on some stuff. You're not in the best state to be considerate or to take care of other people. But at the same time, it's just like, bro, this person's passed out dying right beside you, and you're just like, it's just, yeah.
It just felt like we was like literally like in fucking hell, bro. Like it felt like we was in a concert in hell. You couldn't breathe, you couldn't see. Like just imagine all the people they're gonna find tonight who was in that crowd, who nobody could see, who nobody could hear, who passed out, and everybody was just troubling on top of them the whole fucking concert. Like in the VIP section, it was so many bodies laid out. People was getting pulled out who was fainted, and the people were trying to give them CPR, and they was flipping them over, like they was literally turning black and blue. Like I never seen death in my fucking life, bro. Just by me alone, it was probably like 10 fucking people laid out dead. And like once the medics tried to help them, they wasn't responding. They moved to the next person. It was nothing they could do. Like this shit really fucked me up and like really spooked me tonight. Like that was like some.
You know what? I have like a real question here. Is dude, you know what fucks me up? I'm gonna assume that like nobody unfollowed Travis Scott after this. Like I want to see what happens. I want to see what happens in the few days, and to see if he loses money from this, because I feel like he's not, and because his fans just don't care that people died. I feel like the majority of them aren't going to give a shit. You know what I'm saying? This was wildly irresponsible.
Money shit, like, and what was so crazy, like people were screaming help, trying to tell Travis Scott, it was like help, the whole crowd just want to help. And he just kept going, bro. And mind you, y'all see the type of music I make, y'all see everything, like, you know, like I've been so heavily influenced by Travis, but like after tonight, bro, like God really showed me, like, you know, like stay away from that shit, bro. Like that shit not for you, because like he sacrificed so many people's lives tonight, like for real.
I respect this guy a lot.
Like so many people's lives are gone tonight because they want to go to a fucking Travis Scott concert and have fun. You know, he influenced people to be raging and all this shit. So many people broke in, and it was just chaos, bro. It was a living fucking hell, bro.
There's a lot of people that want to hold Travis Scott accountable because he kept the show going while people were dying.
Somebody help him. Somebody pass over here. Somebody pass over here. Hold on, don't touch him. Somebody help jump in real quick.
Listen, you guys are having this information that people are dying, but he's on stage. He does from the stage. You don't know the serious of what's going on. I remember I was doing a show and I was right.
I get that. I mean, I had the same perspective, but it's a culmination of factors.
On the North Shore, I was the opening after that show, and I'm on the show and I hear something. It's not a band. It's not music. It's just me doing comedy. And there's someone that said something in the room, and I didn't hear what it said. At first, I thought it was a heckler, but it was actually someone passing out. And that was that split moment where I didn't even know what was going on. And I thought it was a heckler, and I was about to go in on this motherfucker to shut what I was saying. On the stage, you don't know what's going on. You don't see everything that's going on. So I wouldn't necessarily.
Yeah. Also, people passing out at concerts is very normal. You know, being at the front for a big stage show, you got to sit there and wait there for hours. And boo-boo, as you're jumping up and everyone around you shoulder to shoulder, okay, and they're stealing the oxygen, it's getting hotter and you're not well hydrated, passing out is extremely common. Now with this crowd, it seemed like they were extra rowdy, mosh pits, everybody moving against each other. And, you know, listen, there's normally etiquette to these kind of things. If somebody's passed out, normally people make a way. I've seen mosh pits before, and if somebody gets knocked out, everybody traditionally bands together. This one didn't seem to be the case, and for a lot of people, that's why they were passing out. You know, people were dying of cardiac arrest, young people. That's how stressful and tiring the event must have been. So I can only imagine being in that kind of sea. Whew.
It's okay. I'm pretty big. I could like hold myself. You know, hold my elbows out and I can hold that. But someone that is smaller, I could see.
Yeah, a fucking 10-year-old.
You know what though? Even in your circumstances, if the crowd is rowdy,
yeah, you just think
the crowd is rowdy. There's not one person. The person pressing against you, you're like pushing back, but then there's a wave of people pressing on them, right? And here's the thing: in those kind of circumstances, once you fall, bitch, if you're not strong, good luck getting on.
What I'm saying is that I still have better chances. I'm not saying that I'm not saying that I'm immune to this shit. I got better chances. But if I'm down, I got more chances. But it's like it's almost a wrap because it's not just one person.
Yeah.
People that are stepping over you because everybody's like that. They don't even see you.
No.
So it's not like they can watch and be like, oh, careful. No. It's one person down, trips another one. Hey, it's not cute.
I personally do not do giant crowds. That's not me. You don't catch me at no concerts, and if you do, best believe I'm staying in the way back where there's an open area. But that's just kind of how I am. And this is not to say how I'm better. It's just I never feel at ease being like with everybody up on me. And it's just not my thing. I don't like being in crowds like that. To me, it's like it's just I can't do it.
He said he doesn't do big crowds. He doesn't do medium crowds. Let's be honest. It's not big crowd. It's medium.
Yeah, I remember when I went to the Carnival in Brazil. And I was in those big ass crowds. You're talking about like streets jam-packed shoulder to shoulder if you want to walk. Like, and I'm good at clearing crowds. I understand how to move through them. But when I was down there, I remember every time I would put myself, anytime I had to be in that crowd, because the person I was with, they really wanted to go. I remember positioning my back to a place where there wasn't just people behind me. Yes. There was either a vehicle, or there was either a wall, or whatever. It's just like maybe it's just the way my brain functions. But every time I'm like, you do not want to be surrounded and helpless.
No, you don't.
You guys are at a concert and someone's passed out. Do what you can to make space for that person to be able to leave adequately. Right? Sometimes just because they're asleep doesn't mean they're sleeping. They might be dying. Okay. And so just be considerate of that and try to take understand you're there for your enjoyment. That's cool. But be considerate of the people around you. Is the only thing I would say. Other than that, yeah, this is tragic, man. It's just tragic.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that wasn't like I feel like they didn't really talk about anything. This video was kind of like not necessary. I don't mean to be rude. Hold on. Because they're more focused on defending Travis Scott than they are with bringing the whole situation to a head. They even showed us in the beginning this fucking clip of people stampeding, and it's like I just feel like there were so many failures, and they pinned this comment. I can't really blame him. People break down barriers to concerts and overcrowd the field all the time. Not only that, but you're asking majority inexperienced concert goers to mosh in an overcrowded field. Mix the heating with the overcrowding plus violent moshing, and you get a recipe for disaster. While Travis Scott should have had a plan B, is a very likely case people tried breaking the barriers. He can't really assess the damage and intervene. He is a performer. It's not his job to oversee the safety of the attendees. There are tons of staffers involved with these events. They're supposed to help prevent a tragedy like this. It should be left the entertainment to do the job. You know, I just feel like liking this is like this is just a very big downplay of his responsibility here in this situation, between riling up his fans, not calling the concert off earlier. Yeah, definitely an issue with security, definitely an issue with the medical staff, definitely an issue with the event organizers. There's an issue all around, but he is absolutely part of this problem, 100%. It seems like he didn't get, they were just like, we watched videos of him blocking medical staff, or not him, the crowd was blocking medical staff. He didn't really stop the show. He didn't stop the show for long enough. Like if the culture is causing this problem, then there needs to be a change in this type of fucking culture at his concerts. Because this is just fucking insane, dude. It's just fucking, it's fucking too much, dude. Papa based off Social Blade after the event, he gained followers and lost none. Okay, that makes sense, of course. Yeah, man, I think that Travis Scott really fucked up on this. It's pretty bad. Like I said, I don't think that he should go to jail, but I absolutely think that he should be like absolutely financially responsible for this. Something. I don't know. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I'd be embarrassed to have these people as my fan base too. 100% I agree.